All right, it is July 1st. It is the first day for the North Carolina yarn tour, and we are headed out on a small road trip. So today we are headed to the Salty Sheep, Wayward Fiber Arts, and Yarn Tales, and we will bring you along for our ride. So we are at our first place. The Salty Sheep Yarn Shop says it is located in the friendly city by the sea, Swansboro, North Carolina, a friendly haven for local and visiting knitters and crocheters. All are welcome in our happy place. We are proud to offer a variety of beautiful yarn and natural fibers, needles and hooks and accessories. So we will head inside and see. There's a lot of construction going on around. Parking lot, hopefully I can get back out of with the different construction, and then there were some do not enter signs, so hopefully I can back out and get out of here. All right, we are at Wayward Fiber Arts. This is stop number 2. It is the little building there behind us. It says, our mission at Wayward Fiber Arts is to provide customers with the best possible experience when shopping for knitting or other fiber art supplies or learning new techniques. We offer a range of unique boutique yarns, needles and notions, patterns, felting, and spinning fiber and accessories at competitive prices. We also offer a diverse selection of fiber arts classes such as spinning, twining, felting, dyeing, knitting, crochet, or more. Ticket holders will be eligible for a 10% discount and also eligible to enter prize drawings. So we are here, and it came highly recommended from our last shop, so we will see. All right, we are at our third yarn shop for the day. I can't see it behind me, but it's in the strip. It is Yarn Tales. It says a gathering place for yarn enthusiasts who knit and or crochet, yarns, tools, classes, sit and stitch times. Events during crawl, weekly prize drawings, sit and stitch, discounts for tourists only. So we shall see what we find. Hey friends, it is now Wednesday night. So yesterday we did the start of the yarn tour, so now it is July 2nd. Last night after doing the yarn tour, my daughter had dance class, and then during the beginning of her second class, apparently a tree fell on a power line, and we had like 10 minutes of on and off power flickering, like 10-second intervals. It was awful. And my younger one was trying to figure out what was going on. She's then not answering me. My husband's en route home, and then started flipping off all the breakers, and then at which point power was out for a number of hours. So a little bit more chaotic night than anticipated, but all is back up and running. We lose power quite frequently here, and it's gotten to the point where we've had to replace even surge protectors and some of the delay sensors. Like, we've got some of our larger appliances on a delay, so if there's a brownout or a power outage, that it gives it time for the power to stabilize before it turns those appliances back on. And we've had those go bad because our power is so unstable. So thankfully, so far everything seems to be working this round. So we, as you go through and see, we recorded little videos at each shop. Those write-ups were provided by the yarn stores, and while they were not published in the printout that was distributed with the bag itself, they are in the online portion of the yarn tour. So I took out the shops that we wouldn't be going to because of either limited availability due to those shops that were only open one day a month, one day during the month, or the working farms that restricted 18 and older, those kind of things. The others I printed out to have. So that is what I was referring to when I read that off for those little bitty intros. And then my little clandestine videos as I walked in. So sorry for some of the shaky. Certainly that first one at the Salty Sheep was the most unstable video, as I tried to walk in and figure out how to best do that and not get too many people in the video. But it is, so those, it was a nice beginning crash course, and certainly that first location was super sweet. I believe her name was Pam at the Salty Sheep. Let's see if it was in here. Salty Sheep. Is she in here? It doesn't say her name. But super, super nice, and enjoyed talking with her. And she knew a number of individuals in the area, certainly well established with her business. Really a great selection of yarns. And having talked with all these individuals, and this is a much different yarn selection than what I usually shop with my plushies and the amigurumi. It really motivates me to learn to knit because it's just a much higher quality that would be more in line with the apparel and that kind of stuff. Dogs are going crazy, something happened. So we'll have to see. I will have to pull out some of those beginner tutorials that are recommended in a number of my other YouTube favorites and see where that goes. So for the Salty Sheep, we came home with two, these were the twisted hanks, and she then wound them into cakes for us. This one's kind of fallen apart on me. It's very interesting how she put the name of the yarn into the label, into the center of it before she pulled it off of the thing. So this is Rio's, well, both of them are. So we got these from the same group so that these could go together. If I were to do a shawl or something, these would complement each other nicely. So these are Rio's, and so this color is the Ankara green. It is just such a pretty, vibrant kind of teal. And then this one is fuchsia in the same thing. So this is a superwash merino wool. Sorry, after working all day, my voice is just so scratchy. It's approximately 210 yards, 100 grams. It's a worsted weight. These were essentially $18 each. So as for the incentive we'll see if I can zip this guy partially back in there. As far as the incentive at her shop, she put all three of us into a drawing since we all three had the yarn tour bags for a gift certificate for the shop. So we will see where that goes. It was really nice talking with the ladies there. It was a really cozy atmosphere. I could definitely see going there for a class and hitting the beach because it's so close. So that could be a great relaxing fun day. I appreciated the playful banter back and forth as they talked about yarn shops and what they appreciated from different venues in the area and some of the other different opportunities that the area had. So I definitely appreciated the ladies that were there. And we had gotten in there and we had been walking around. It was super busy. I wasn't quite sure what to expect walking into these different places. This yarn shop was busy. There was construction next door. The parking lot was a little goofy with one angled entrance blocked off, and then it kind of said do not enter towards the backside. So I wasn't quite sure how I was supposed to continue parking around the other side of the building. And then I had a work meeting, and so I was like, can I do this in 20 minutes? And no, I cannot. So I had to go back out and do my work meeting and then go back in so it was all good, but I felt a little funny going in and out a couple of times, but they were delightful to meet at that store. So very good. And you'll have to let me know what I should create with my little merino yarns here. They are so soft and vibrant. I just love these. So then shop number 2 was Wayward Fiber Arts, and there were 2 ladies in there, and they have all their own dyeing and all of that. So everything in the store is very custom. They told me I would not find anything else like it anywhere. So kind of one of those things, make sure you buy what you want because you may never see it again. Don't run out of yarn halfway through the project is what I get out of this. So be mindful, be intent when you purchase for a project. So I have no projects because this is, again, not typically the yarn that I use for the majority of my projects. I have purchased some alpaca yarns and different wool yarns for some of the hats that I've made, but unfortunately, the price point that I have to put those wearables at, they do not sell. They have not sold for me. So I am a Midwesterner who is living in coastal North Carolina. So unless you are going to the mountains, maybe you don't invest in those kind of things. Although the ladies in my neighborhood, they are wearing parkas and all sorts of stuff at 50 degrees. So I have a hard time believing that the people in this area do not have cold weather gear because I see it. However, the idea of cold weather gear here versus the idea of cold weather gear back home in Illinois is very different. I have gloves. I have knit gloves, mittens made from llama. I have a knit hat made from the alpaca. So it is a whole different mentality. And I just haven't been able to sell things at the price point I need in order to recoup the materials and the costs. So I do not have things in mind at this time for high-end things of these specialty yarns that I'm finding at these specialty stores. So perhaps as I delve into wearables, whether crochet and or knit, that would be something to use these higher quality yarns on, because clothing definitely needs a higher quality than your Red Heart off the Walmart shelves. However, the same thing applies. Is somebody going to pay that price for that item? Yes, I know that there are high-end retailers everywhere, but that doesn't mean that items sell. Not everybody appreciates the handmade, and I am very aware of that. So, treading with caution, I guess. And as much as I love the plushies and have not enjoyed the flat crochet pieces to this point, they have been bulkier crochet pieces and they have been harder on my hands and wrists. So potentially with a more delicate weave, more delicate, I don't know, what do you call that? It could be much easier to do and more enjoyable. So I'm trying to come at this with an open mind. And so we will see. So we picked out that pink and the teal from the first shop. So then as we looked at all of these different wools from the Wayward Fibers, we picked up purple and gray. So trying not to get the exact same colors and give ourselves some variety. So this says Chrysalis Quarried Ale, worst 3-ply, 150 yards, hoary edge and sooty wing. Random color on fiber, wrapped and gently steamed. What will emerge? Named to commemorate the disappearing butterflies of the American prairie. So Chrysalis. Got it. Happy knitting. Abby and Pam. Oh, Pam must be the girl at the second store. I've now mixed up my names. All right. So very good. All right. So, definitely the second store had a much smaller selection. They had a really nice big table for, you know, group events and classes and that kind of stuff. It had a much different feel. They had a similar parking situation. It wasn't gravel like the first shop, but it was more of a yard. It may have been somebody's house out front and then like business garage out back. But certainly a cozy feel there too. But certainly, if you're going there for something specific. So it's definitely a niche sort of business there. Nice ladies. If you're looking for specific wool things, definitely go and check them out. And to wrap that one up, we did get 10% off for that shop for being part of the yarn tour, and we did get entered into a drawing for a couple of goodie bags for that shop as well. So, and that was with the Wayward Fibers. So the next one, the last one that we went to was Yarn Tales, and this seemed to be a newer shop, I think. They don't have quite the history of social media and that kind of thing. So they were a little shop in a strip section and kind of a long, narrow shop there. So I didn't get the same video of everything because the way you walk in, there's not islands, they're just like not even spinner racks, but little shelving things in the center, piers as you walk in. So then you've got the one wall is full of things, and then there's these little piers down the center. So it's hard to get a full video of what exactly is going on there. So that video is not quite as nice. But the couple of ladies in there, super nice. Had a good time talking with them. And they had ordered their yarn bags but had not yet received them. So we were talking about it. They had not seen the yarn. Well, actually, none of the shops had seen the yarn bags. So I was able to show off my yarn bag at all of them. I had to do my little disclaimer that my little big twist yarn buddy was not part of the bag. That was my Joann's purchase. So, but they were working on a number of large squares to put together a blanket throughout the year. So a big square each month, and then they will put together a blanket for the end of the year. So they had just finished their square for June, and we're blocking that. So that was fun. And then talked about some strategy for getting the yarn shops. One of them was heading to the mountains in a couple of weeks and was planning on hitting a number of stores on the way back. So it sounds like she's gonna have a full car as she heads back towards her coastal residence. So for them, because they had drawn a map and they were only giving discounts if they considered you a tourist. And even though I'd only been to New Bern one other time for a dance competition, I was not considered a tourist because I was within their, I don't know what it was, 100-mile radius. We weren't a tourist. So we did not get any discounts at their shop. They did give you a raffle ticket for each $10 that you spent that went into a little bowl for a drawing. They're doing a drawing the first half of the month for interchangeable knitting needles set in a really cute kind of leather clutch case. So that's to the 15th. And then the second half of the month is a large set of needles in a large kind of portfolio book. Your entries do not carry over. If you want entered into the second half of the month, you would have to go back and create and have more purchases. So they did have more variety, a number of different brands. They even had some chenille yarn. My daughter pointed it out real quick, and I'm like, no, I've got lots of that kind of stuff at home. I don't need to be getting any more of that. So we did walk around and find a few things there as well. So from there, these first two things we just got because they were super cute. So this is called Soft Serve. It's got a little ice cream truck on it with a little yarn ice cream ball on it. Just super cute. Made in Turkey. It is just super cute. And so there's a pink and a blue one. I just think that they're adorable. So, but then the other yarns that we got here are these two. So we got this lighter purple and this kind of a sea green, light blue, I don't know, somewhere in that blue green. So they call this Baracco Vintage. So machine wash inside out, 52% acrylic, 40% wool, 8% nylon. So it's a medium for weight. So it's a really nice soft yarn. And so here is our other. So this is a much thinner, softer. This is a little rougher than this one is. So these will complement each other nicely for whatever decide to do with them. And then certainly I've got my coupons here, and they threw in a little card about classes and so forth. So a little bit of that. 10% off with this flyer. Classes, scheduled sit and stitch times, variety of yarns, tools, and accessories. So very good. So overall, it was a very good, experience. I would like to think that individuals that are in this kind of field market are very friendly and all of that. However, as we were chatting at that first shop, and looking through the yarn tour book, there were a number of conversations about some yarn stores that have changed hands, and they're like, well, hopefully for the better, because the previous owner was, not the most personable, and in a business where you really need to be personable, it's a problem. So hopefully it's a good thing for a lot of these businesses. And then as we look ahead, where'd my little planning sheet go? I had talked about a Central Carolina yarn crawl and trying to look at double dipping for some of those things. So as I cross-referenced the yarn crawl things, only half of the yarn stores on this Central Carolina yarn crawl are included in the NZ yarn tour. And then there's 107 miles north to south between the northernmost one and the southernmost one, just in this section of 8. So 4 out of the 8 are included in that, and the other 4 are only included in this. So I'm not sure that it's worth doing the extra things unless they are truly super close to one of these other things, that it's worth it. The northernmost and the southernmost are on that. So if these would fall into it, maybe we can make it work. Maybe depending on the drive out and the drive back. I don't know. I was thinking this was next week. However, this is from the 11th through the 19th. So it doesn't start until Friday of next week. And then it goes through the whole following week. So I kind of thought we would do this next week. So I don't know. This may get pushed out a week. I'm going to have to really look at my schedule. Maybe we do Raleigh next week and then we push out this Central Carolina to the following week. So we will do some planning and thinking. So I would love to hear if you have participated in a yarn crawl. Have you done something like this? What was your favorite thing, or what did you learn by going to all these different shops? Did you find some shops that you ended up frequenting and purchasing from multiple times down the road? Did you find a cozy little place that you went for some of these sip and stitches? I would love to hear your experiences with these. This is fun. The girls said that they had a good time with it. I don't know if that's just because they got to eat at different restaurants and just park out in the car on their devices all day. I do have to wonder sometimes, are they actually having fun, or is it because they get somewhat unlimited access to electronics while we are in the car? So it's our parenting, questionable parenting things for the day. So that's our first 3 shops. We will see what comes of the next, and we will see if I figure out how to cast on between now and then. Take care.